live with Get Your Buzz On. This is episode 12. And again, right now we are reaching out to the local businesses, the local community, and seeing what each business is doing right now through the COVID-19 crisis. And I have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, Alejandra?
Sure. Hey, y'all. I'm Alex Serra. I'm a local attorney here that does primarily criminal, traffic tickets, and a little bit of family law now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, how have you been doing with this COVID-19 and everything going on?
It's craziness. We made the decision probably about a week before the stay-home order went into effect to take us virtual. And so part of my practice, the traffic tickets, is 100% virtual anyway. So that has continued to stay the same. But the criminal and the family law, it's just like up and down. And we're having to navigate that, like using Zoom, using more different platforms to get people involved. So it's been crazy, but I have a really great team. We're all female and we use Slack to communicate during the day. So overall, it's like we're hanging on.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And the thing, the hard part is when you have your wireless internet that's not strong and then you're on Zoom and things cut out and stuff. So
Oh
it
God,
just brings a
yes.
different load of stress to your
Mhm.
workload. So I know exactly what you're going through, girl, but you've been doing such a great job on your social media and keeping people informed with everything that's going on.
Thank you. There's a lot for people to digest, and then like somebody says one thing, and you're like, I don't know if I believe them, and then this other person says another thing, and shit, like the county judge doesn't even know what's going on, right? I
Yeah,
mean, he's
yeah.
throwing parties during quarantine. Like, I can't. So stuff like that, right? Like you got to be an example for the people that you're trying to put under these rules and regulations. So, you know, I know it was all in fun and he forgot and it was a screw up and all that stuff, but it's been hard for El Pasoans to be like, oh, wow, we can't have Easter, right? Like we can't
Yeah.
hang out with people. Or, well, if we do hang out with people, am I actually going to get in trouble? So those kind of things have been really hard to navigate. And then the child custody stuff has been like out of control.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
what has been your biggest questions that people have been asking right now with like all the changes in the legal stuff and everything?
So a lot of baby mama, baby daddy drama. A lot. Like a lot. So the biggest thing is like people are using this as leverage to keep kids. Be like, oh, I
Ooh.
know he's supposed to get our daughter during the weekend, but I'm scared that he's going to have all his friends over and it's a risk for the kid. And it's like, no.
You
You've got to follow those orders. So I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of that. Some people are genuinely scared about it, but like for the most part, whether it be the men or the women, it's kind of like using it as leverage. So
Yeah.
asking about that, asking about whether you got to pay child support, asking about stimulus checks, things like that. And a lot of like, are they enforcing this order? Are if I have traffic warrants, can they still actually arrest me? Stuff like that. So those right now are the biggest questions. And what I've noticed as a defense attorney is like DWIs are like on the downfall, and assault family violences are on an upswing because
Yeah.
everybody's home, and they kind of hate each other.
Yeah.
So it's
They're
it's
like in
a
the
lot of
close
crazy.
quarters.
Right. And then this I learned the other day in talking to some police officers is if two people get in an argument that isn't physical, right? And the cops are
Mhm.
called to a domestic. The cops get there and they want to separate the parties, but the parties are like, "Well, it's my house, I'm staying here." And she's like, "No, it's my house, I'm staying here." So they run them both for traffic warrants, and if somebody comes out dirty, that person gets taken to jail.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Oh, and someone got a DWI in an ice cream truck last weekend.
How did that happen?
And of course this is like second, third hand information because I talked to one of the police officers about it, and yeah, in the middle of the day, I guess this ice cream truck was going through neighborhoods, and some concerned parent was like, "Hey, this guy in the ice cream truck, he's swerving." And so she called it in, and he got arrested. And yeah, it DWI in an ice cream truck.
Oh my gosh, that is nuts.
Hmm.
Have you been getting questions like about rents and how that works? Because I know a lot of people, some of them are getting laid off and they haven't made their payments on certain things. How is that going? Like if commercial and what do you call it? For
Residential.
anyone that's renting an apartment, yeah, residential. There you go. What's the difference between the two right now?
Okay, so there's some orders that have been issued by the Supreme Court, by El Paso, about evictions, and that only applies to residential. So your homes, if you're renting, whatever, and so they cannot evict during this time, which means they cannot formally get an eviction order from a court and kick you out and retake possession of the house. But this doesn't like exclude you from paying rent. You have to pay rent. So what I'm seeing, especially with, and I get clients on both sides, the landlord and tenant side, and what I'm seeing is landlords are willing to work with tenants and decrease rent temporarily or let you make payments, things like that, because it costs them something to have you leave the premises, clean it, list it for however long before somebody rents it. So the parties should work together. Commercial, though, the eviction ban does not apply to commercial. So if you can't negotiate or get a deferral on commercial stuff, you're kind of screwed. Now, the
Yeah.
other thing is for mortgages, a lot of banks are allowing deferred payments. Like I know some people who, bank with whomever, right? Wells Fargo, Westar, whatever, and they're getting 3 months deferred payments on that mortgage. So my suggestions would be talk to your landlord if you're renting. If it's a mortgage, absolutely talk to your bank, and the foreclosures, just like the evictions, are suspended for now.
I gotcha. So, what's your
Mhm.
biggest legal advice right now for people that are home and if they want to have people over and everything, legally, what rights do they have or how does it work? Because I know it's changing all the time right now.
Mhm. Yeah. Stop. If you want to do something, don't, or call me first. Really, if you want to go to Red Sands, you can't go to Red Sands. If you want to go to State Park, you can't go to Skate Park. No, those are big questions. Just you can't have anybody over. If they don't even live in your house, then not only are you violating the law, right?
Yeah.
Is you're opening it up for more spread of the virus. Like it jumped from what, like 346 to 392 yesterday
Yeah.
as cases. I mean, and I know you're like, oh, screw the government. They can't do this stuff to me, blah, blah, blah. This is unconstitutional. I hate it. Okay, wherever you fall on that, fine.
Yeah.
But the longer this order is going to be in place, right? If you keep screwing it up, if this disease keeps spreading, right, then we're going to be under this order until July or August.
Oh my
I
God.
know at this point, the order has been extended till May 17th, but at least the disaster order, but the courts, the county and district courts downtown, right? They aren't
Yeah.
having jury trials until July 6th already, right? Because if you have a jury trial, you bring a whole bunch of people in close proximity to each other, right? Like
Right.
hundreds of people. And so they think that it's so serious that they've postponed all that until July 6th. So if you think about it, if people keep spreading this virus and have people over and whatever, then it's just going to get worse.
Oh my gosh. Well, and I just think I don't know if we just haven't realized the severity of everything or people, I mean, and I get it too, because, when we're stuck at home and we're not able to do anything, I just think that you just want to have your time to be able to go out and do that stuff. But I agree with you. If we're having to do all this, just stay home and make it as short as possible because we all want to get through this pretty quickly and alive. I'm sure if
Right.
you,
And
do
get
you
your
do
job back.
divorce? Do you do
I do
divorce
do
law?
divorces. I
So I'm
do. So
sure.
call me, give them to me. I know because this is a problem. Like, you don't realize how much you guys are not compatible anymore until you're stuck at home with these people for, 3 months.
Yeah. I mean,
So bring it on, guys.
I know. I'm like, your phone's going to be ringing off the hook in the next couple months.
Right. Yeah. Flash my number across the screen because, yeah, or the enforcement actions for visitation or, anything, family violence defense. Because, like, family violence, right, is not just your domestics, it's not
Yeah.
just partner on partner. If you slap your sister, that's assault family violence,
Oh, geez.
right? Or you're stuck at home with, right? And you guys get in some physical fight, that's considered assault family violence. So, I mean, those cases are just on the rise because we're not used to being home with one another.
Yeah. That's the God honest truth.
Right? Right? We can't run away anymore.
We're all stuck together.
Yeah.
My other question was, because you do a lot of informative videos, and since we actually are an insurance broker, so we offer every single carrier known to man in Texas and New Mexico. And
Mm-hmm.
I constantly stress certain coverages for auto and certain coverages for home. On the
Mm-hmm.
auto side, what do you like right now? People are home and they have time to really take a look at their coverages. What is your advice that they make sure that they have on their auto insurance?
Right. So Texas requires liability only. That's a requirement. And so many people are running
Yeah,
around without insurance at this point. Like
which
that
is
first ticket, yeah, it's ridiculous, A. But I mean, I get it. Some policies are
yeah,
expensive, whatever. But let me tell you this. You get pulled over, that first no insurance ticket is between 426 and $479, right? Like,
Jesus, yeah,
so you can possibly pay premiums for an entire year on that. If you get a second one, we're talking about like $1,000. So those are not easy to get dismissed. So liability for sure. But then if you're in an accident, a lot of people are running around here with liability only or no insurance whatsoever. So if they have no insurance and you have no insurance, that's a problem. You're going to be getting sued regardless. So it's super dangerous to run around here without insurance. So liability minimum, I don't know what you recommend specifically for your clients. I, of course, have the full range of everything because my friend
yeah.
Tiffany is like, you need to have all this and PIP and everything.
Well, and I think for us, like, because a lot of people think, for example, full coverage, oh, just give me full coverage. And then we look at their policy and they don't really have full coverage. They just have liability and comp and collision. And so we're like, okay, well, you don't have uninsured motorists. So if someone hits you without insurance, which
Yep.
the rates
All
in
the
El
time.
Paso people, it happens all the time. And it's not even that much more to add it on. You're looking at $20 more a month max. So that's one thing that we tell people to really take a look at your coverages. If you don't have uninsured motorists, add it on. Medical, if you don't have health insurance or you don't have those things, or if you are like the main breadwinner and you're going to have a loss of income if you get in any type of accident, you really need to look at medical or PIP. Roadside assistance too. That's another thing that people don't know that you can add on your car insurance to make sure if you do get stopped, if you're a mom, a stay-at-home mom that always has the kids and you get a flat tire, I don't know how to change a flat tire, so I would be screwed if I didn't have that stuff. So,
Right.
I have two kids, so I tell, it's like I just tell a lot of people that even though they think that they're saving money on certain things, in the long run, you're not really saving anything.
Mm-hmm. For
And
sure.
so those are my biggest things is uninsured motorists. And then with the home insurance side, a lot of people don't realize anyone, and you can correct me because you know all the legal jargon with the home stuff, but anyone that's on your property, you're personally liable for. Am I correct?
Yeah. So like if you have a swimming pool and a kiddo
Mm-hmm.
goes in, gets injured, drowns, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you need to have
Yes.
a rider for that. Growing up,
Yeah.
we had a pool and my parents didn't have it fenced in and they were paranoid and we have a rider for that because you're liable for those things. Absolutely.
And that's what I tell, I'm like, you have to make sure you have your personal liability. The other thing that's a huge red flag is if your house is vacant, and people don't realize that stuff because it's such a huge liability to not have people living in the house.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And on the, let me give you an example of the car insurance case that I'm fighting right now. A lady got actually hit, like pedestrian, got hit by a vehicle. For somebody who lives in Mexico, she had, $50,000 in medical bills, and he didn't have insurance, and he lives in Mexico, and we can't find him now. And then she's stuck claiming her uninsured motorist of $2,500, right? I mean, and
Yeah.
we're fighting over that kind of stuff. She got hit by a vehicle, her body, so people don't understand that there are those kind of risks.
Yeah, and that's a great point too, that they just go with the state minimum too, and it's not that much more to raise your limits, because technically you can have up to about $250,000 for the limits. And what a lot of people don't realize is medical expenses and anything like that add up super quick. So
Mm-hmm.
the state minimum really doesn't cover all that much. It's just pretty much to make sure that they have some kind of coverage. But what in actuality, people need higher limits. And the other thing I always recommend is if you have a lot of assets or something, to really look at like an umbrella policy that covers your home and auto, above the 250. For it covers, it can go up to millions, but it definitely covers a lot more. And I stress to anyone that's home right now, I know that you're looking at Corona and everything, but really take a look at your policy and your coverages, because you don't know what your auto coverages are. And then the other thing on the home policy, look at your deductibles and your personal liability and everything, because people just don't think that it happens to them until it really does.
Right. And now is the time to get your shit together. I mean,
Yeah,
like
it is.
real talk, right?
Real
Like,
talk, girl.
stop looking at the coronavirus map or obsessing about your ex on social media, or good Lord, stop with the TikTok videos. All right. One a day is cool. Right.
Yeah.
But like, get your life together. Like, make sure that insurance is on lock. Make sure that all your warrants are removed. Make sure your resume is in tip top shape. Like, for when all this stuff is over, it is going to be business as usual, with some modifications. I think that there's going to be a lot more virtual work and things like that. But like, this is a great time, or, do some stuff for yourself, be
Yeah.
productive, like shut the phone off, that kind of thing. But yeah, it just is kind of in the whole blanket of get your shit together.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I completely agree. I'm like, preach it, girl. You're saying, you're
Uh-huh.
preaching to the choir
Yeah.
here that.
Yeah. And listen, right? I know when you put content out, right? Then people ask you questions like, and I'm like, did you even watch what I just said? Because I
They like
answered
watch the first
that
5 minutes.
question like 3 times on my video,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, so I think in general we have a problem with that, is just listening and then realizing like this sucks. Being at home sucks, but it's a great time to deal with all the stuff that you have been putting off and you've been too busy to do, and those kind of things. And props to all the moms and dads that are homeschooling kids right now, because I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. My friends are going crazy, and I'm going crazy with my two. So thank God me and my husband are like trying to manage it all really well. So, and
Hmm.
we both are able to work right now because we're essential workers. So that helps
Hmm.
out.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions that I get too. Like, what's essential? What's not essential? Can I kind of be essential? Like, what can I do? So I do get a lot of those questions too.
Where are you? Where can people get in contact with you if they do have like the questions that, deeper questions than what, that really, but they want to ask you for advice?
Yeah, sure. So they can get in contact with me over email or on the phone. My office phone number is 915-542-0388, or follow me on social media. I try to answer all of my Instagram messages personally. So even if you don't get a response right away, I'm going to find that message and I'm going to answer it eventually. So know that you will get an answer to that question. But if it's something, some burning question or something really like emergency, then go ahead and give my office a call.
That's awesome. And you're and where's your office located? I know you don't really have anyone going in right now, but where's that office at?
It's downtown in the corner of Myrtle and Virginia.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like still, I mean, you're still working, so you're still talking to people, you're still seeing people via virtual office and stuff.
Yeah, I actually think that that's going to continue after this is over because it's so convenient. So what I've been doing is kind of doing the consults with people over Zoom, and then my staff will pop in towards the end and then handle any kind of administrative stuff, contracts, payments, things like that. And we're able to work that way. So that's really neat, and it takes less time. Some people don't want to go downtown. I parking, whatever, right? Well, we can always do a Zoom. So yeah, we're all still working.
You're like, just like me, we all gotta still hustle right now.
Can't stop. I don't know what I would do, right? As I'm preaching, like, get your life together, right? I don't know what I would actually do if I could not work and had to sit at home. I don't know. I have a Peloton, so that helps. But otherwise, I don't know. I don't know what I do. Drink
You'd
a
be
lot
like,
of wine.
I think that's what everyone. Well, you saw the rate of the alcohol sales in Texas. I think we're number one right now.
Well, Texans, right? But yeah, if you follow any of the like crazy winos on Instagram or like women who love wine, I mean, all of those posts are really great because it's true. I mean, it's so true. Like, what else is there to do? And sometimes I
Nothing.
drink wine and work, right? So I have
Yeah.
both of my favorite pastimes.
Yeah, we have happy hour. Like I said, once we're back live, I'm gonna have to have you on and get you drunk. Like that's what we do. I get your buzz
Won't
on.
take much now,
I
right?
know, that's
I
true.
have I've lost my tolerance.
That's very true. And what's your website, hun, to look at get your information for your business?
Sure. So I always direct people to Instagram. So it's Alexandria Serra on Instagram. But my personal website is Sarah Law, PLLC, and I spell my last name Serra.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I really appreciate it. Do you have any other words you want to say or to anyone that's out there that's listening and um, tuning in or what advice you have for anyone?
Well, other than I just stay home, just stay home. And before you do something that you're like, I don't know if I could do this, like just call me. Okay,
Okay.
it's better to get it over with, and I can tell you no. Sometimes it's like talking to children. No, you can't do that. But no, you can't do that. You want to be put in timeout? Because I will put you in timeout. Call me so you don't get in bigger trouble and we have to unwind that. All right, this is not gonna last forever. So just stay
Yeah.
home.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Hopefully, we will cheers with some champagne soon.
Oh, yes. And we actually were working on a rap music video the week before all this shut down. So we will definitely have you guys on it once we get back to normalcy a little bit.
Okay, perfect. I don't know what that's gonna look like, but it'll be fun for our viewers, right?
It'll be fun and it'll be the right time because I think everyone's going to need some laughs in their life after all this.
For sure, for sure. Well, thank you so much for having me on.
Same here. Thank you, hun. And you have a good rest of the week.
All right, you as well. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.